Das ist nicht deine Welt. Die Jungs, die hierher kommen, kämpfen um ihr Leben. Im Ring sterben Leute. Dein Daddy ist im Ring gestorben.
Ich kenne ihn nicht. Hat nichts mit mir zu tun.
Sylvester, how was it for you when you first heard, okay, they're going to take a new chance on Rocky and they put in Apollo Creed's son?
Well, I thought that was a crazy idea. I thought it was impossible to even get to 6. I was so lucky because the last one really worked and said goodbye to the audience. Okay, that chapter's done, put a lock on it, a miracle. And then, what was it, maybe 8 years later, you're gonna knock on the door, hey, you wanna try it again? I go, no, that's, stop. But it was very unusual because he came up with a unique idea of a whole other character. And then the hard part was to make the audience believe it was not Rocky 7. Mm-hmm. It's a whole new, Rocky's now he doesn't fight anymore, he doesn't take his shirt off, nothing. It's a different, he's like an older man. And this fella has to do all the work.
Jeder Punch war allein mein Ding. Niemand hat mir gezeigt, wie es geht.
So Michael, how was it for you when you first heard? Were you nervous because you had to step in these big shoes?
It was one of those things that Ryan mentioned to me in passing very vaguely and briefly when we were going through the audition process for Fruitvale Station. So we've kind of known about this thing for a few years now. So, it was very like, yeah, cool, of course I'll do it. And then we went to go shoot Fruitvale Station, but once it started to become more real and Sly got on board and things started to really move forward, the history and the legacy of 40 years started to sit on me a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, this is big shoes to fill. But, he took that pressure off of me and let me know that this was, I'll be doing all the heavy lifting on this one, and don't try to live up to anything that he did, and that made it easier for me to go to work.
Das ist aus der 10. Runde im ersten Fight, oder? Was ist mit dem 3. Fight zwischen Ihnen und Apollo? Hinter verschlossenen Türen. Ist da was dran?
Woher weißt du das alles?
Ich bin sein Sohn.
What does Rocky mean to you personally?
The first Rocky to me was just a love story. I remember watching it and thinking, the first time he's in the pet shop with Adrian, that's what it looks like when a guy's clumsily, flirting with a woman. I remember clocking that as a little girl. But it didn't, apart from that, it didn't mean the same thing to me that it does for so many people, which is these stories about the underdog, stories about self-determination. After getting cast and then watching the movies, I realized exactly why they resonate with people so much.
Inspiration. Man, inspiration. Honestly, I was late getting to the franchise, maybe my freshman, sophomore year of high school. And I just remember just feeling inspired, like this underdog story. And that really stuck with me with the franchise. So whenever I see Rocky, I just think of underdog and just feeling like,
They weren't born until Rocky IV. After Rocky IV, okay? Give you an idea.
Yeah.
How difficult was it for you to keep the balance between paying homage to the old Rocky movies,
right,
and also starting something totally new?
Yeah, I mean, it was a degree of difficulty there. It was just something we had to be conscious of. Had we not made a choice, or if we made a choice to ride one way or ride the other way, we always knew that it would be somewhere in between. And that was kind of what we decided. That it would be somewhere in between. So, throughout the process, sometimes we would be over here, sometimes we'll be over there. We kind of would keep ourselves honest. In terms of threading the needle. And I think we pulled it off.
Ach, du musst erst Prügel kassieren, einstecken, zu Boden gehen, wieder aufstehen. Und dann weißt du, ob du es in dir hast. Aber du musst dich reinhängen. Ich schwöre bei Gott, wenn du das nicht tust, bin ich raus.
So did you feel watched on set with him being there? It's like, did he interfere with anything?
The cool thing about him is that because he's a director himself, he got a lot of respect for the process. You know what I'm saying? Like I think if I was struggling and having trouble at some point, or if I was swimming, he might have stepped in and helped. Like if he saw something that he thought would be interesting, or if he had a question about something, he'll pull me to the side and say, "Hey man, what about this? Or did you think about that?" And with the boxing, because he was around, and he's done that so much, he would be a little more hands-on in his notes at times. You know what I'm saying? He'll come in the ring and say, hey man, like what about this? What about that? You know what I mean? Like, you know, are you guys thinking about this? Are you guys thinking about that? But he was so respectful, man, and generous in a way that I don't know if I could be if the shoe was on the, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot. You know, looking back on it, he was most of the time he was just chilling, man, like hanging back, you know, hanging back. Like a lot of times we'll pull him in for questions, like, hey man, you know, we doing this, man. What you think about that? And he's so great, man. Like when you ask him stuff, because he's sharp and he's got a lot of experience, you know. And he's got a mentality like he'll make a great teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like he could, you know, Sly could run a school on all this stuff. You know, and it'd be the best school ever. You know, so it was a great like working relationship.
You had to fight like real boxers in this one, so was it hard, and did one of them knock you out at all?
I took some real punches thanks to this guy right here, but it was one of those things that, you know, I'm definitely working with all professional fighters, and I think that just keeps the authenticity of it. You know, they're anything that they see is wrong or it looks, you know, goofy a little bit, he's always there to make sure I look like a real fighter. So the training aspect of it was extremely hard, but you know, we came through on top.
Warum denkst du nicht mal über die Wahrheit nach? Du liebst das Boxen, oder?
And what would you say, how does Bianca fit in this movie now? Is this love story also very important, or?
Yeah, I think it really is, you know? I feel like all the Rocky movies, the thing that's so brilliant about them is they're actually about love, about family, you know, about identity, and they're told with the guise of being a boxing movie or with boxing being the backdrop. And I guess Bianca structurally is kind of like the, you know, Adrian of our time. But she's a woman that has, you know, her own hopes and dreams and ambitions, and someone that stands to challenge Adonis and you know, help him be the sort of the best expression of himself.
Ein großer Fighter hat mal gesagt, der Punkt ist nicht der, wie hart einer zuschlagen kann. Es zählt bloß, wie viele Schläge er einstecken kann. Und ob er trotzdem weitermacht.